Hi, this is Rish. I thought I'd give you an update on my half marathon training, and it's roughly 10 days away and not many days left to train. Um, and it's like an exam. Whatever you've done, and you just go do it after that, right? There's nothing more you can do. Because I spent about 2.5 months training, ramping up slowly to get here. So I should be in really good physical shape right now, as the best I can get. I have another 10 days. I can't really do a whole lot more. I still need to keep doing it for the next week. Uh, so it's a 2.5 month I allocated. This is the only half marathon I'm running this year. Ran one last October. So this year I'm running in Windsor, Ontario. It's right across the water here in Detroit. Uh, it's a very supposedly flat course, not a whole lot of hills and all that stuff. So that's easy, right? Keep it easy. Uh, but the training is really just to prove to myself that I can achieve some of the numbers I've hit in the past. So I put myself, I give myself a standard that I need to meet at, and the standard is kind of tough because I hit my PR in 22. That's 3 years ago. I set a PR of an hour and under hour and 30 for in a half marathon at I was 56. So at 59, I'm trying to hit that number. That's going to be really difficult because I know my training right now, and it's going to be difficult unless conditions are super, super great. Uh, but last year I ran in Columbus and I did an hour and 37. So an hour and 30 versus an hour and 37, a big difference. There was a reason for an hour and 37, I think. I tripped in the first 100 meters of that race. Because there was a huge barrage of runners going, and I didn't really realize. Typically when you're running, you run straight, so you don't cut across, right? So there's one runner, he cut across right in front of me, and that did it. Because so that's not something you should do. You're not supposed to be doing that, especially when you're going in full force in the first 100 meters. The other thing, a lesson for me is I need to stay back a little bit. I need to make sure some of these people are just go and then I can follow them, which is fine because I'm not one of the fastest runners anyway. But so that was a lesson learned in the last half marathon. So this time around, I think I've prepared. I've run my long run. A couple of days ago, I ran the whole half marathon distance at a slower pace. A few days earlier, I ran a fast run with my new shoes that I'm going to try out, the Puma Fast Star Nitro Fast Star 3. It worked very well. It's really good. My shoes were the Nike Vaporflies 2 version 2, but the Vaporfly version 4 is not as good as the 2 version. Go figure, right? So companies and brands, they change their model over time. They assume it's going to get better. Sometimes it's not better. But anyway, the Puma Fast Star works great. For me, it's a perfect fit. It's soft, it's bouncy, it's got enough propulsion. That's the whole thing you're looking for. You're looking in a great shoe. You're looking for something that's light, something that's going to propel you forward, something that makes your running easier, right? So it has to fit your type of running too. So that's something you got to figure out what works for you. Other than that, it's just training right now. Just I have a little bit of travel in between, which I really don't like because when you travel, your workout routine kind of gets messes up. But that's the way it is. You gotta you gotta do this in the midst of all the other things. I don't have too many other requirements on my time, so I get to train and I get to do this. So I'm grateful for that. It's just having other thing is just trying to recover and be able to train. That's extremely important. Just trying to be injury free. Just small things like my feet are hurting. Just unusual aches and pains come in. So you have to overcome those things. So some minor things are perfectly fine, right? So you have to be grateful to be healthy and have good, because to be able to run a good half marathon, any kind of race, anything long distance, all systems have to go, right? All your muscles have to be working fine, your joints have to be working fine, your heart rate has to be okay, your lungs breathing has to be okay. So it's a combination of all these things that come into actually being able to run a great race. So that's why you train. You don't just go out there and start running because you're not a 20-year-old anymore. So, with that said, I'm kind of, at this point in my training, I'm pretty happy where I'm at because, I don't think I could have spent more than 2.5 months trying to get here. So I'm here. I'm able to run as well as I can. Now the only question is, how well I can put it together on race day. So a lot of conditions, weather conditions matter. If it's a nice cool day, things are better. Obviously, if it's a warm, humid day, things will slow down. And also, simple things like are you in good shape? Are you rested? It's a funny thing. You have to be trained well enough, but you also want to be rested on that day. So it's a combination of all these things. I love this because I get to act like a semi-professional runner. Although I don't get paid for this, but the payment is just I'm healthy and happy for this to do this. So again, I'm just generally blabbing about my training. So this is how I train. I don't have a trainer per se. I train myself. So I kind of do whatever I want to do. And then I do obviously watch some other runners and see what techniques and training methods they use. Typically, you run a long run, you run a short tempo run, so training tempo and speeds and then threshold pace. So these are just heart rate ranges, so you run a slow run, which is a lower heart rate run, and threshold is where right between aerobic and anaerobic range, and then a tempo, where tempo is when you're running like a sprinter. So obviously you can't keep up your sprint pace for any kind of long distance. So, it's like asking Usain Bolt to run a 10K, right? He can't keep up that pace. So these are all the calculations you have to do in order to be able to bring the best out of you, right? So that's all you're trying to do. You're just trying to get the best out of yourself. So again, thank you for listening. Hope to give you a great update after the race.